Today I'm going to show you some programs that you can download that will help you with tattooing, and it would also help you take some old designs and turn them into new ones. What you want to do is get on the internet and then go to your search engine and type in free downloadable paint programs. Once you do that, you'll get several that pop up. You have paint.net, and there's others like GIMP and ArcSoft, Ultimate Paint. There's several of these, so what you want to do is find the best one, and you can type in what are the best 5 alternatives to Microsoft Paint, and they will tell you the pros and cons of these programs. There's showing My Paint, paint.net, GIMP. Once you find the program you want, you're going to want to download it into your computer. And once you follow all the setup instructions, you can go ahead and click on the program to open it up. This is an ArcSoft program, and the reason why I use this is because it was free and I've used it forever, so I'm more familiar with this than the other programs. Now you're going to want to open up a new page, start fresh with a blank slate, and I like to start off with a page that's the size of a piece of paper, so I usually set it for 8.5 inches by 11 inches. That way in my head I already know what size it's going to be, because I can imagine what size a piece of paper is and then look at the image and see how big the image is on the piece of paper, and that'll kind of give me an idea about the size of my image. Then you're going to go back onto the internet and pick some images that you want to use. For this one I'm looking at roses, so I'm going to download the image of the rose that I want to use. I'm just going to save that into my computer so I can move it over to the paint program. So there's the saved image that I have. And I also have an image of a cat that I downloaded. So I'm going to open the program back up, and then I'm going to drag my image over to the program so that it opens it up in the program. So I have a picture of a rose and a picture of a cat. And this is what I used to do the tattoo on my wife I did about a year ago. She wanted a cat and some roses, so I came up with this. She wanted a cat that was kind of classic, old school, so this was one of the images I found, and I just altered it so that I could use the cat's face inside of the rose. So the first thing I did was cut out the part of the image I wanted, which was the cat's face. Then what I did was I needed to put it inside of the rose and figure out how to place it in the rose so that it looked nice. This is where you have to get familiar with the program you download and know how it works. What I'm doing is I cut the image of the cat's face from the other picture and I pasted it on top of the picture of the roses. But now what I have to do is resize the image and then rotate it so that it fits correctly in the rose. Once you become familiar with the tools and the program and the options, this will become second nature and you'll just start to do it without thinking about it. One of the tools you have is the eraser tool, and you can use this to get rid of stuff that you don't want in your image. And the great thing about these programs is if you mess up and delete something you didn't want to delete, you can always just hit the back button and then start all over again. So we don't want all this extra space in this image that we're not going to use. We just want the outline of the cat, because when I do the stencil, that's all I'm going to use. I just want the outline. I don't really need to do everything at this stage, because as long as the outline's correct, when I trace it, it's going to be okay. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to have the outline that I want for the tattoo itself. If you're going to put this through a thermal copier machine, you might want to have it, perfect, but for me, I like to do them by hand. So one of the tricks here is if you take the image and adjust it so that you can see through the top image, you can figure out how to place it better and delete what you need to delete. You can see through to the other image and make your adjustments. You can see that I can make the cat kind of disappear and reappear, and that way I can get a visual of what I need to do when I'm adjusting the picture. What you want to do is just get yourself familiar with the program. There's several tools you can use that will make things easier for you, but watch YouTube videos that give you tutorials on how to do this kind of stuff. Look into Photoshop. If you have the money for a Photoshop program, that's a lot better than these free ones. With the free ones, you just do what you can do. You can see that you can come in and clean up the image, delete all this background image that you don't need, so that you just have your stencil, and then you can trace that out when it's time to do your tattoo. You can see I've added a second cat to this image, so already I have a different image from the other one that I did about a year ago. So this is how you can take an old image and make it into a new image. It's also good for seeing if an image will work, and if you do it on your computer, it's a lot quicker than trying to draw it out by hand and seeing how it looks then. You can just do a test run on your computer first to see how it looks, and then go in and change things yourself once you do the drawing for the stencil. Or you can get a rough picture, rough image, and then come in and do the changes you want to do, and it's a lot quicker than drawing everything out by hand. What you can do now is save this image, or you can print it out and have a hard copy of this. Most likely though, this isn't going to be the size of the image you want, so what you're going to have to do is resize the image, and you want to think about what this tattoo is for and how big the tattoo is going to be. If it's going to be a little 4x4 tattoo, then you want to make it that size, and just think about the size of the paper and the size of the tattoo. So what I like to do is cut and paste different sizes of the image so that I can get the correct size. So I'll start off with a small image, and then I'll cut and paste, and then I'll take that image and just make it slightly bigger than the other image. Then I'll cut and paste that image and do the same thing. I'll make it slightly bigger so that when I print this off, I can just cut these out with a pair of scissors and then use that to see which one's going to be the correct size for the tattoo. And then I'll do that before I do my stencil so I can get the correct stencil for the correct size for what I need. So you can see that this will make your life easier as a tattoo artist, and it's a free way to come up with unique ideas.